Evolve ICT Summit, Sustainable ICT Solutions of the Future, and Building Trust and Innovation in Africa's Digital Future. We just note that the world is unified by an ecosystem, and that ecosystem is ICT. And Africa is part of the whole world ecosystem where we collaborate in this digital world. So as Africa, we are not developing something which works by itself. We are integrating into the world ecosystem. And currently, world development has taken us where everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. And as we see artificial intelligence, it has really become a topical issue. Together with artificial intelligence, there's all the security that goes with it. So Africa must not be left behind in this journey, which has now become almost a battle. Worldwide, there is a technological battle to control the digital space. America has technology leadership in AI technology, but China has the rare earth metals for making the chips. So we now have a tariff war in the world, which looks like an economic battle, but it's a technological battle. Who is going to control the technological space going forward? If we look at what has happened in the world, the largest companies in the world are now predominantly ICT companies. In trillions of dollars as market capitalization. When we were younger, only oil companies were the biggest companies in the world. But now to have the 5 top companies being technology companies really says that there is something going on in the world of technology today. And we in Africa do not want to be left behind. And so if we look worldwide also, there is talk that technology will take our jobs. And really, technology will take some jobs, but it will also create new jobs. So while technology might take jobs from people who work traditionally, it is creating a whole new set of jobs in the technology arena.
What I want to say is that God is a God of generation. We have seen his faithfulness. When our son took over, things really started evolving. And the birth of Evolve was also done through the next generation because healthy things grow. You know that healthy things grow. So we are seeing that even talking to the minister, he was telling us in his office that they are supporting ICT. So we are in a good place to grow together as team, as Zimbabwe. He was quoting about big companies not outside Africa, but I believe that Zimbabwe will do greater things as we collaborate, as we work together.
May we all clap our hands as we invite our guest of honor to the podium.
Our President, His Excellency Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, has been very clear. And this has actually become a national philosophy, where we say, Nyika inova kwa nevenevayo. So this rightfully means that we have got a part to play, you and me, in making sure that we evolve the ICT sector in Zimbabwe. As Zimbabwe, let's evolve in ICTs and become a leader. And we are ready as Zimbabwe to become an ICT leader. But that can only happen if we are going to collaborate and work together for us to be effective. Reflecting on my experience at the inaugural edition of this summit last year, held under the inspiring theme, Lead with Vision, I'm reminded of the significant groundwork which it laid for a new era in Zimbabwe's digital transformation journey. Gathering here is not just an event. It is a dynamic convergence where public and private sector leaders, innovators, students, and development partners unite with a shared commitment to shaping our future in technology. This year we are gathering on a theme, Sustainable ICT Solutions for the Future. And I'm glad we are seeing a lot of players here. This has to be our thrust as a nation. As much as we provide for connectivity, that's a basics. That's a basic thing that we would want each and every single day. It's a foundation. But out of the foundation, we need to develop beyond that. What solutions are going to emerge from the connectivity that we're going to provide? We talked about this the last time we came from Barcelona together with the DG. And we said it's important that our telco players come up with solutions which are relevant to our everyday going. Daily, what ICT solution are we using? And this has to be the thrust. And I even asked Kombiling and I said, which new solution have you brought now as we speak for the nation? What is it that you have developed? And they said they now have got a virtual fiscalization program that they have. And that's an application that they're working together with Zimra. That has to be the thrust. Let's look at the solutions that we bring each and every single day, which are going to make the lives of our citizens better. Let's look at these solutions and be able to come up with applications, come up with softwares which are relevant to our everyday life. Our services have to be enhanced by the use of technology. This really has to be the thrust. And I really want to thank you for coming up with this theme. And this is going to harness the power of technology to build a more equitable future for all of us. As the Minister of ICT, Post and Courier Services, we wholeheartedly embrace our role in championing a transformative digital landscape that is not only advanced and innovative, but also fair and sustainable for all. Our core mission is to guarantee that every citizen of Zimbabwe, irrespective of their age, gender, geographic location, or economic status, has the means to access essential digital tools, seize opportunities, and acquire the necessary digital literacy to engage fully in the evolving digital economy. In the past year, we have made remarkable strides in enhancing connectivity throughout the nation, bolstering digital literacy efforts, and nurturing a culture of innovation. By forging strategic partnership with the Postal and Telecommunications Regulatory Authority of Zimbabwe, POTRAZ, and other key stakeholders, we have successfully increased our internet penetration rates, launched 5G connectivity, licensed low Earth orbit satellites connectivity, reinforced our broadband infrastructure, supported the establishment of innovation hubs, and created inclusive platforms for dialogue and policy development. Together with the whole sector, we collaborated in crafting the national AI framework, and now we are working towards our national AI strategy. We came up with the national cybersecurity strategy, which will be sent in cabinet soon, as well as amendments to the Postal and Telecommunications Act. I am certain that the final versions of these the critical documents will be pushed and gazetted before the end of this year. These initiatives are thoughtfully aligned with our overarching national vision, encapsulated in Vision 2030, which inspires to cultivate a prosperous and empowered upper middle income economy.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for saying you will support anything that is ICT related in this nation. She is here to support. The government is here to support. In this particular period, I just want to invite Dr. Machengete from POTRAZ to come and give us his remarks concerning data protection, cybersecurity, and the user trust.
Ladies and gentlemen, for all that to happen, for the solutions to have an impact, for the solutions to change our lives, for those solutions even just to work, there is need for data protection. there is need for cyber security, and there is need for user trust. How the organizers came up with this is a marvel. And when I was asked to speak about it, I said, yes, now we are moving forward. Now we realize the importance of the regulator, that without data protection, without cyber security and user trust, we will not go far. Our solutions won't be sustainable. So user trust, that is the digital currency today. It has become now similar to, say, the Bitcoins. Yesterday I was just checking, and I was surprised to realize that now one Bitcoin is worth over $100,000. Not $100, $100,000. One Bitcoin. And we started to ask why. Why would that be like that? It's because of its anonymity. You can't trace the person, the identity of the person moving it around. Although you can, of course, trace the route it has taken, the trail can be seen, but it hides the identity. So it has got a higher level of privacy. And that's why it is trusted. So with that, if we want our solutions to be trusted, our solutions should have a very high level of privacy and very high level of cyber security. Then those solutions can be trusted, just like the Bitcoin, which is trusted because it will hide your identity. We always say that we are holding our future in our own hands. But the issue of sustainability comes into play, and is also a theme for this summit today. Are the technologies that we are using sustainable? Are we really holding the future in our hands? What about the carbon print that we leave? How are we disposing of the gadgets that we use? On that, I'm glad to say that the Ministry of ICT is looking into issues to do with e-waste policy, so that we can achieve this sustainability. Now the buzzword is ESG, for sustainability. So that becomes important. So we need continuous innovation, even in that area. And in conclusion, we just say privacy is not an option, and it shouldn't be the price we accept for just getting on the internet. I thank you.
The challenges that we face are compounded by a number of constraints. Number one, the difficulty in embracing change. This is a psychological hurdle that each of us will have to face. Secondly, the constraint of time. We generally don't have enough time in the day. Thirdly, the constraint of financial resource. And a sober assessment, I believe, is necessary for us to identify the winds of change, to embrace them, and to adapt to this ever-changing landscape. The generation sitting above us, my focus is really going to be on you this morning, because as you focus on your careers and the opportunities ahead, the future in many ways is incredibly uncertain for you. You'll be studying for things that may not exist in just 3 or 4 years' time when your study courses end. You wonder about the relevance of tertiary level education, because here lies the challenge for you if you consider going to university. If you consider going to university, you're going to be listening to a lecturer significantly older than you, possibly an expert in material that's no longer relevant. In our own business, just this year, we've now decided that university degrees are of even lower priority in our recruitment process. I'll repeat that. University degrees are considered a disadvantage in our recruitment process. So what have we done to counter that? We're encouraging 17, 18, and 19-year-olds to join our team. Because the problems that we're about to face are not fixed with yesterday's academia. The problems we're facing, the challenges we are facing, the headwinds that we are facing are going to be resolved with the creative juices that are sitting above us. We're looking for the following characteristics in our next employment phase. Students or young people who are creative, that have got a collaborative interest, and have primarily, or most importantly, curiosity. We're going to encourage them to ask the questions that do not begin with just the word why. We're going to expect them rather, to ask when, who, what, how. And then we're going to expect them to use the tools at their disposal, the likes of ChatGPT, the whole AI move, to be prompt engineers. Because the challenges we face today will be solved by asking the correct questions, not by necessarily knowing the answers.
So today, the topic that I'm speaking on is leveraging artificial intelligence to boost operational efficiency, business productivity, and to grow Africa's gross domestic product. So I think it's pretty interesting that we went through what India is doing, and quite rightly so, like what Dr. Prudence was saying. One of the game changers is that a couple of decades ago in both China, in India, they made a conscious decision to say, we're going to introduce technology right at kindergarten level. And they started introducing coding. They started introducing those programs which have led them to become leaders in the space and in the sector. The first step probably starts with you and I. And that's really looking at how do we unleash artificial intelligence to streamline our operations. Are we amplifying productivity in our organizations, in our entities? And really, once that happens, it will turn into an exponential growth, even as we see that within our entities and within our organizations. We've seen chatbots that are now being used. Global entities such as T-Mobile, they use a multiplicity of chatbots within their organization, which are customized for different processes. So you can have an outward-facing chatbot for customer relationship management, an inward-facing for your finance teams, an inward-facing for your supply chain, and really looking and how do you leverage that. A key issue which came out was the data residency issue, to say, where is the data? So even as we are leveraging even these tools, we need to start looking at solving even our local challenges. So even from a language standpoint, do we have those chatbots in Shona, in Ndebele, in Xhosa, in all the languages that we have in our country, to really leave no one behind even within the process? Looking at the global potential, McKinsey released a report in May, really looking at the transformative potential of artificial intelligence, even for Africa's economy. And here are the statistics which came from McKinsey. They're saying that potentially on an annual basis, there's potential for annual economic value of 103 billion that we can actually realize if we are able to leverage artificial intelligence. And this potential, it looks at the potential for 2 times growth of our GDP rates by 2035 through artificial intelligence-driven productivity gains. It's seen that there's been a 40% increase in the percentage of African institutions that are currently experimenting with or implementing generative AI technologies. So you can't be left behind in the bandwagon. We need to start using that data. We need to start leveraging that data and start making informed decisions which give our entities a competitive edge. So then just looking at a few of the futuristic predictions, sectors like the retail, telecoms, and banking show strong potential for AI-driven growth. And really, we thank the minister who's really been tasking the telcos to say, what are you doing in terms of driving digital transformation? What are you doing in terms of coming up with new solutions, even within the space? And then really, we need to look at infrastructure, skilled talent, and clear regulation. And I think that's why the Evolve ICT Summit is also serving as a platform to say, how do we bring the policymakers, government, how do we bring private sector together and come up with something that's compelling and really a juggernaut to really propel Africa as we move forward. So looking at key critical gaps that we need to address in the immediate and within the now. As Pastor Cade was sharing, he was saying that we've not even started. What we deem our blue chips are SMEs. So what are some of the steps that we need to address? Infrastructure. From a power standpoint, do we have the power? Do we have the infrastructure to support this? Do we have the GPUs? Do we have the compute to really be able to support this? And it really takes partners who are really partnering and really saying that we're going for it and we're going at it. So some future predictions that we could possibly look at by 2030. We're probably going to see artificial intelligence largely embedded in most of our public services, from health diagnosis to school enrollment. Most African businesses will use artificial intelligence, whether they know about it or not. Many of us are probably using Meta AI, even on our WhatsApp platforms, at Meta. What's the weather going to be like today? If you're on X, at Grok, did this really happen? Artificial intelligence will become one of the top 5 contributors to Africa's gross domestic product, just like agriculture and mining are today. But here's the twist. This future doesn't belong to those who wait for it. It belongs to those who will build it. Looking at the global imperative, the world's leading economies are racing ahead with artificial intelligence. Amazon's 750,000 warehouse robots now assist 75% of global deliveries, achieving 25% productivity gains in the next gen facilities. Google generates over 30% of its code using artificial intelligence. China's 14.2% surge in industrial robot production helped drive 5% gross domestic product growth in 2024, while India's 6.5% growth fueled by tech exploits. Yet Africa represents just 0.2% of global robot deployments, despite having 3% of world gross domestic product. This gap isn't a weakness, it's a 1.5 trillion United States dollar opportunity. The data is clear. Nations that are embracing artificial intelligence faster are seeing faster growth, higher productivity, and stronger competitiveness. Now, bringing it further and bringing it back to home and looking at Zimbabwe's artificial intelligence opportunity. In Zimbabwe, artificial intelligence isn't about replacing sectors, it's about supercharging them. In agriculture, which represents close to 17% of GDP, artificial intelligence precision farming could increase yields by 15%, adding close to 200 million annually to the economy. For mining, which has been sitting at close to 11% of GDP, autonomous haul trucks and predictive maintenance may boost output by 10 to 15% while reducing downtime. The math is compelling. Just 10% of productivity gain in these sectors could add 1.5% points to Zimbabwe's gross domestic product growth, plus create thousands of new tech jobs in artificial intelligence operations and data science. This is how we will turn traditional industries into 21st century powerhouses.